This is homecoming and a reunion. Those guys on the wall are my brothers, and they're coming home. And I'm going to be reunited with the guys that I knew that are on that wall. And we're going to spend a few days together just reminiscing about the old days.
Travel around the country. This year we're doing 26 stops to travel and bring this into your communities. And what you guys get to do today is what makes this so special. For the next 20 minutes, as you guys rumble down the road here, as they see this procession with the lights in front of you and the lights behind you, as they hear your motorcycles roar, they're going to know something special's happening. And they're going to know because you're escorting that wall in with it.
It is so important for us to honor you and them, and for anyone who served in the Vietnam War. And this wall gives us a unique opportunity to contemplate our veterans' sacrifices.
Those are the heroes from the Vietnam. It's not guys like me, it's those guys. Everybody says we're heroes. That's the heroes. Those guys on the wall, they gave it all.
Tomorrow at 8:30, we're going to start putting this up. And I know a lot of you guys came back 5 years ago and did it, and I'm never going to turn down good help. But we're bringing in young, able-bodied people to make sure they do
it. Since its inception in 1996, the stunning replica of the original Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. has traveled to a wide variety of places across our country. Many veterans, come to find out, have never visited the wall and only have an opportunity to visit the wall when it comes to a local community. So it is really important that this traveling display offer veterans the opportunity to remember, to mourn, and to heal in their own communities. But we're very proud of this. When you talk to the people who are here, the company, we have two companies, we have our firefighters, and we have the POAM from the state, and the Clinton Township football team. Every single person I've talked to has said it's an honor for them to be able to help put these panels in the wall. There are very few communities who even get the wall once, much less 3 times. So we're very proud of that here in the township. Today, with the wall that heals on site, these grounds become sacred. You'll notice there's no soccer, there's no pickleball, there's no nothing but the wall and the reverence that the wall deserves.
And we remember before God and command to this sure keeping those who have died for their country in war. This wall is also a tribute to those who returned for the American veterans of Vietnam and other veterans that have returned from battle and duty, and they are forever changed by what they have seen. Let us always remember to pray with gratitude for the peace they have preserved for our nation, for those who have died in war, and for those who came home bearing wounds, body and soul.
There are more than 58,000 names on this wall, with the actual count for 2021 being at 58,281. Think about this, the men and women who gave their lives for this great country and for all of you. Never forget them. All of our veterans gave some, but the names on the wall gave it all. when I see names on the wall, this always reminds me, and I always visit a young soldier. I went to school with this man, and I knew him very well. His name was Bruce Michael Barnes. He's on panel W19, line 8. From there, I move on to the wall for those that were killed in action in 1966. There I will find 14 brave soldiers who were killed on the night of December the 26th on LZ Bird. Like many of you, I ask myself and I wonder, did I do enough? And if I had done more, would some of these soldiers have made it back home? I don't know the answer to this nagging question. I have to believe I did the best I could, but this will be with me all the days of my life, until we meet again in a place without hatred or war.
When we think of Vietnam, our thoughts go to the overwhelming number of young people, 18, 19, 20-year-olds who gave their lives. The 58,000 plus individuals on the wall are so much more than a list of names. They are intricate parts of families, sons, daughters, husbands, wives, fathers, mothers, siblings, and more. I think about most never knew the joy of having a family of their own, and those who did never got to see them again. Never had the opportunity to watch their children grow and have children of their own. They never held a grandchild, like many of us have been so blessed to do so over the years. The list of nevers goes on forever. So many momentous occasions and experiences the men and women on the wall will never be able to do.
So I think it's very apropos, the title that calls it The Wall That Heals, because this is our opportunity to remember. It is our opportunity, not just as veterans, but as a country, to remember what it is we went through. The trials, the tribulations, the sacrifices that led us to a better place, hopefully to a deeper understanding and commitment as a country to our freedoms. But as we look at that wall, all of the names that are out there, all who gave the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam and those who are still giving that sacrifice for what happened in Vietnam. So we have this opportunity today to remember, to heal, to celebrate the service in a lot of ways of those who sacrificed so much.
When I attempted to thank a vet for helping the Wall That Heals set up, he stopped, hugged the wall, and said, "We're not working, we're visiting our friends and comrades." I feel we owe our Vietnam veterans a promise that just as they did not forget their missing comrades, neither ever will we. The Vietnam War period was difficult at home, but it was far more difficult for those serving and their families. We owe it to them to remember that is the only way to maintain peace. The peace they fought for is to stay strong individually and as a nation.
The table was round to show our everlasting concern for our men still missing. The cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose in a vase reminds us of the life of each of the missing and their loved ones and friends who keep the faith awaiting answers. The vase is tied with a yellow ribbon, symbolizing our continued determination to account for our missing. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors to open arms of a grateful nation. A slice of lemon on a bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God. The glass inverted symbolizes their inability to share this evening's toast. The chair is empty. They are still missing. Missy Matthew.
We honor that service and sacrifice today and should carry it forward to our children to honor. Freedom and democracy are the result of all the most honorable this country has produced. Today we stand to remember the most honorable amongst us, and we must continue to carry the burden of their sacrifice, lest we lose sight of what true freedom is. Today is for remembering, stand in honor of them, walk in their path of duty. Remember the cost, and hold in your heart the cause of freedom. Amen.
When we were told that we were going to get the wall for the third time, we were elated. The problem is it was 2 years ago, and the elation wore off until we were once again granted permission to have the wall come to Clinton Township. And if any of you were here the day the truck rolled in, you'd have had tears in your eyes. How proud we all were in our community to have such a beautiful monument come for us. I'd like to thank all the volunteers. I'd like to thank the sponsors, VVA 154, VVA 9, the participants in our ceremonies that we've had, the Clinton Township staff, Tim and Rodney. You two guys are fabulous. Everything you touched turned perfect. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you've taught us. If I'm still around in a couple years, I'm going to apply to get the wall to come to Clinton Township again. We deserve it. We respect it. This is what makes a community great. This is the extra that you don't get other places.
We can't change what happened 50 years ago. We've got an obligation to make sure it never happens again. And we started with welcoming other Vietnam vets home because nobody else was doing it. So we decided that we needed to do that, and that's what started that.
You know, people say thank you and thank you for your service, but it's so much more to that, you know, and we have to embrace our vets. We have to make sure that they're taken care of. And I think, I know because of Vietnam vets that this is taking place now, which is phenomenal. And having the wall come, we have to look at those names and understand why those names are there. They're not just names. Those are people who went and they died, or they're, you know, prisoners of war, or they were missing in action. And people have to look at that and understand that they paved the way for vets like myself and others.